Well, welcome everybody. What an awesome day in Watkins Glen. It's my pleasure to welcome you to Watkins Glen. And before we begin, I'd like to recognize some of our important guests here today. Senator Tom O'Mara, Mayor of Village of Watkins Glen, Sam Skimitz, Schuyler County Legislator Chairman Dennis Fagan, Town of Dick Supervisor Harold Russell, REDC Co-Chair Tom Trainer, and REDC Co-Chair Harvey Stanger. So thank you very much, folks, for coming. We'll also be hearing by, obviously, the one and only Governor Cuomo, President CEO Howard Zemsky, the village mayor, Sam Skimitz, and Senator Tom O'Mara as well. So we currently particularly thrilled to welcome Governor Cuomo back to the racetrack. The governor is a car guy, always has been a great friend of the Glen and the entire community, so it's great to have him back again. So Governor, thank you. Since day one, the governor's been committed to investing in Watkins Glen and supporting Watkins Glen International. The governor recognizes the important role of the racetrack that it plays in our region. Our region, with Watkins Glen International, produces over $232 million in economic impact on an annual basis. Under the governor's leadership, New York State supported vital repairs and modernization to stay competitive with this world and have ensured and remain our tourism and economic engine for Southern Tier. Today, we're proud to attract tens of thousands of fans, hundreds of thousands of fans from all across the country and five continents, and in 5 countries. Investments like these are a testament to the governor's commitment to tapping into the potential of local communities and helping drive economic growth. As this governor doesn't think about it, he gets it done. And I can tell you, he's been a true champ of this country, this county, and this state, and my hometown of Buffalo. Thank you for the Buffalo Billions. A little particular, but here too. As this governor just doesn't talk about it, so it's great to see that he acts as well. So please join me in welcoming the 56th governor of New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo. On behalf of Watkins Glen, thank you. On behalf of Watkins Glen International, we heard a rumor he had a Buffalo Bills helmet, so we couldn't be outdone. And since we're the only other sport that wears helmets, we had a customized helmet made just for the governor with I Love New York 355 at the Glen. So there you go.
Thank you. Thank you. Can I take a picture? Thank you very much. Well, it is my pleasure to be back. First on the helmet, Michael, I won't use it as much for racing, but I am going to use it when I go before the legislature. It could come in very handy. First, to Michael Printup, who does an amazing job running this facility. It is a New York State treasure, the Glen. It's a great spectator sport. It brings people from all over. It's a great economic engine for this state. And it's been so successful because it's had great leadership. It always comes down to leadership. And Michael Printup, you do a fantastic job. Let's give him a round of applause. To Mayor Skimitz, pleasure to be with you, my friend. Senator Tom O'Mara, Howard Zemsky, who is the head of the economic development effort for the state of New York. And we have Tom Trainer and Harvey Stanger, who are heads of the Regional Economic Development Coalition. Let's give them a round of applause. I love coming to the Glen. I am a car guy. We just went around the track a couple of times. But we had to follow the pace car, which was slowing me down, I have to tell you the truth. And what's even worse, on the back of the pace car in front of us, it said, "Born in Kentucky," which really riled me up. And I didn't think it would be good form to pass it. I wanted to bump him a little bit, but it really is, as I mentioned, just such a spectacular facility. We're happy that I Love New York is now making it part of the I Love New York campaign. The I Love New York campaign we resurrected. And it has been a phenomenal boost to our economy. Tourism is one of the great economic engines of this state. And the I Love New York campaign has really put upstate New York and some of our upstate attractions on the map. You know, when you say New York around the world, most people think of New York City. And New York City gets 50 million tourists a year. So our strategy was, that's great, you come to see New York City and it's beautiful, one of the great cities on the globe, but that's just a little taste of New York when you're in New York City. You look at that map, you're just down there at the bottom. You have that whole rest of the state. So we have been publicizing upstate New York all around the world on the I Love New York campaign. We've invested about $150 million, which is a lot of money in advertising. Tourism revenue went up $2 billion. How do you like that for a return on your money? So I Love New York sponsoring the Glen and sponsoring the 355 race is part of that effort. We're going to have people from all over. We want them to see I Love New York. We want them to see the other parts of the state, the other things they can do in this region. We have a Taste of New York display that's going to be out there because we have so much in upstate New York that people don't know about. And once they see it, once they hear about it, once they visit, they're in love with it. So it's just getting them exposed and getting them to come the first time. And that's what I Love New York does, and that's what the Glen does. It brings people from all over, and it gives us an opportunity to make that contact and make that relationship. So we're very excited about this, and once again, it's a pleasure to be here. We also have another announcement that we're going to make, which is an economic development-related announcement. Because myself and my colleagues in the legislature, Senator O'Mara, we work on a lot of important issues on the state level. We work on education. We have emergency management issues that we're dealing with. We have environmental issues. But the main issue for us on the state level is the economy. If you can make the economy move, then everything else works. If you're creating jobs, if businesses are coming in, if young people are staying and coming in, then you have the resources to do what you need to do. And we have a three-part strategy to develop the state's economy, and it's been working. The first is we had to reduce taxes in the state of New York because taxes were out of control for many, many years. Why were taxes going up? Because the state was spending a lot of money. It's a very simple formula. State spends money, and you have to then raise taxes to pay for the bills that you've incurred. So it's a simple formula. You want to reduce taxes, reduce state spending. Simple. Yeah, but all the formulas are simple, right? You want to lose weight, eat less. Oh, here's the whole formula, right? Billion-dollar industry comes down to that. Yeah, I get the formula, but it's very hard to implement. To reduce state spending was very, very hard. And it required discipline, especially for this state. This state, for the past 50 years, spent more money than the people in the state were earning. Let me say that again, because it sounds impossible. The state was spending more money at a higher rate than the people in the state were earning. And that had to stop. That had to stop. When people complained about taxes in New York, they were exactly right. So we had to get down the state spending, and we had to show that discipline. And that is probably the greatest single accomplishment that we've made. If you intake fewer calories, you're going to lose weight. You just have to have the discipline to intake fewer calories. Our rate of spending in the state of New York now, year to year, has been under 2%. What does that mean? That is the lowest increase in the history of the state of New York, believe it or not. And once you get that spending down, good things happen. We were allowed to cut taxes. We cut taxes all across the board. Everybody in the state of New York, on any income level, pays a lower tax rate today than they did 7 years ago. Every person in the state. Middle class tax rate, up to $300,000 in income, you have the lowest tax rate since 1947. Lowest corporate tax rate since 1968, lowest manufacturing tax rate since 1917. And the real tax, that's the killer in the state of New York, is the property tax. People think it's the income tax. It's not the income tax. It's the property tax. And we also cap that at 2%. So that growth has been reduced. So that was step one. Step two was you have to invest in the infrastructure of the state, right? Now, everybody says this. Vice President Biden, who was vice president to President Obama, ran all around the country, infrastructure, infrastructure, infrastructure. President Trump, the best thing, in my opinion, he said when he was running, we have to invest $1 trillion in infrastructure, because if you build it, they will come. If you have a transportation system, they will come. When you're trying to court businesses now, they want to know, how do I get my goods in and out? How do I fly in and out? It's all about the transportation system. So we've been talking about it as a nation, but nobody's done it. And this state has invested $100 billion. We have the most ambitious building program in the United States of America right now. And we literally are rebuilding the whole state. And it is all across the state. It's from downstate to upstate. You go to Buffalo now, you see a different Buffalo. You go out to Long Island, we're rebuilding the Long Island Railroad. We're building a new JFK airport, a new LaGuardia airport, a new Penn Station for the trains downstate. We're building a new Rochester airport, new Syracuse airport, new Elmira Corning airport, new Plattsburgh airport, roads and bridges all across the state. So we really are rebuilding, retooling the state for the future. And then the third strategy we took, which was novel and different but right, is what we call a bottom-up economic development strategy, which means every region in the state is a little different. And there really is no one economic development plan that we can say works everywhere. Long Island is a little different. It has assets and liabilities. Buffalo's a little different. The North Country's a little different. Southern Tier's a little different. So we said, let's go to the business community in each region and say, you form your own committee, your own plan on how to bring the economy back in your region. You do a survey of your region. What's your strengths? What's your weaknesses? What are your opportunities? You come up with a plan, and the state will invest in your plan. So Harvey Stanger, who runs Binghamton University, which is a great economic engine, Tom Tranter, who's a businessman extraordinaire, they head what we call the Regional Economic Development Council. And their mission was to come up with a plan, and the smartest plans the state then invests in. Our last competition was something called the Downtown Revitalization Initiative, DRI, because everything has to be an acronym for some reason. They don't use words in the state government. It's like an alphabet soup. Downtown Revitalization Initiative said, how do we revitalize our downtowns? How do we bring them back? And we'll have a competition where downtown communities all across the state can come together, come up with a plan that brings the economy back in your downtown area. If it's one of the smartest, we will do an award for $10 million. Now, Watkins Glen is interesting and has phenomenal potential because you have the one thing most localities would die for. You have volume. You have traffic. Normally the challenge is, how do we get people to come here? That's normally the challenge. And people sit around. What can we do to develop an attraction that brings people here? We need to find a way to attract people to Watkins Glen. That is not your problem. That really is not your problem. You have a phenomenal asset. They're coming here. They are coming. Watkins Glen, the racetrack is bringing them. The state park is bringing them. One of the most magnificent in the United States of America is bringing them. The lake is bringing them. The wine trails are bringing them. We've invested in the wine industry. It has grown exponentially. You now have tourism that is just about the wine trails. People are coming. You had the reverse issue, which is all this traffic, all these people develop a downtown area that capitalizes on that volume. People are here. They need to eat. They need to sleep. They want to shop. They want souvenirs. They need clothes. They want somewhere to go. I've been at the Glen for 3 days. Let's take a break and drive into town. You just need the activities, the economic activity that capitalizes on the volume that you have. And all across the state, I can't find a locale this size that has this kind of volume coming in. Capitalize on the volume. And all those downtown shops that are now closed, open them up and have commercial businesses that take advantage of the traffic. That was the challenge for you in the downtown revitalization. And that's what your plan had to do. Now, the idea was so good when we announced the downtown revitalization plan. We said we're going to have 10 winners. 10 winners, each one receives $10 million. I thought we have 10 applications, 10 winners, maybe we get 20 applications, maybe 30 applications. 104 applications for 10 spots, okay? Harder to win one of these grants than it is to get into Harvard University. So, to get into, to win one of the 10 spots was very, very hard. We devised a second place award for people who didn't win the top spot. And the second place award is a set of steak knives. But nobody really wanted to win the set of steak knives. So it's sort of Ricky Bobby, you know, your first or your last in this situation. And I am here to tell you that thanks to you and the great work that you did, congratulations, you have won $10 million for your downtown revitalization plan. Thank you. You did it. You did it. Congratulations to all of you. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so excited because the potential is all here. You can feel it. It's in the air. The volume's here. You're going to capitalize it. So God bless you. Now give a big round of applause to Howard Zemsky, Head of Economic Development.
All right, well, it's impossible to follow that, right? So I probably shouldn't try. Just going to say a few thank yous. First, I want to thank the governor for bringing the car back safely, which made all the contents in the car came back safely, which was good. I've never gone 110 miles an hour before. So I've never gone 110 miles an hour while eating Taste of New York matzo chips before. Now, yeah, you don't know what was going on inside the car, right? We were just going around the track, but you know something of the governor's history and love for cars and horsepower and motorcycles. I'm not that way. But having him behind like 600 horsepower on a racetrack, I want to thank Michael for having a pace car out there. It's sort of like, taking your Labrador to a duck and saying, leave it alone. Oh, there's a duck. Don't touch it. He's going, we're passing the pace car now. On the next backstretch, we're passing that pace car. I'm like, you can't pass the pace car. They're concerned about you, and just the slightest bit me, but mostly you. You cannot, no, next time we're passing the pace car. I'm like, no, you can't. He goes, eat your matzo chips and leave me alone. Anyway. Oh, gosh. Congratulations. Thanks to Tom and Harvey and everyone at the REDC. Thanks for doing such a fabulous job with the council now for 7 years. I know what it feels like when you make a 2-year commitment and you're 7 years in, and everyone in the regional council and everyone who's been involved with the DRI, and it's great being here in Schuyler County. And I want to thank Judy, Cherry. I don't know if Judy's here. She might be here. Judy. I always talk about economic development as a team sport, and we work very closely with Schuyler County, and we work closely with the senator and the assembly people, and we're successful because the governor has gotten everyone off of the sidelines and into the game of economic development. We're all planning. You've got control of your own future. He's so supportive, and the whole approach is so great. Investing in companies in tradable sectors, investing in innovation, investing in downtowns, and that's such an important part. You've got downtown, you've got a great plan, you've got a vision for more activation on the waterfront, for neighborhood centers, you've got more housing. You've got a great plan that hits all incubators. You hit all of our spots: innovation, quality of life. Improving the downtown is good for the residents. It's good for visitors. The tourism economy here is booming. The tourism economy across the state is booming. If you think about the southern tier between Corning and Watkins Glen and the Finger Lakes and the wine region, you have it all. And the idea here was to really help catalyze a great plan and leverage your great assets. And one of the things that's so exciting about this plan is the $10 million of state money is leveraging, I think, another $100 million of private investment. And really, it's not just about how much can the state do, it's about how much can the state's investment create an environment that attracts private investment and private job creation. So your plan was great. To everyone who worked on it, congratulations. It really reflects the governor's holistic and comprehensive economic development strategy. I'm proud of Donna Howell and the ESD team who works with the regional council. And it's just great to be associated with so many good things that are happening upstate and here in the southern tier. And with that, I am going to introduce the mayor, Mayor Skimitz. Exactly, you beat me to it. Mayor Skimitz, and I asked him, I said, can you pronounce your name for me? Because if you see it spelled, I have this phonetic spelling on this card. It says SKIM-ITZ. But that is not how his name is spelled, as you know. So I asked him, how do you pronounce your name? He goes, Skimitz. He goes, but it's really Skimitzi. He goes, but you guys can just say Skimitz. And I'm thinking, you're telling a Cuomo he can just say Skimitz? He's very comfortable saying Skimitzi. So Mayor Skimitz Skimitzi.
Thank you, Howard. What an amazing day at Watkins Glen. New York State's $10 million Downtown Revitalization Initiative Award is a huge win for the village and the region. On behalf of the board and the entire community, we are humbled and grateful to you, Governor Cuomo, and the Southern Tier Regional Council for selecting us for this DRI award. I know many people were instrumental in making this happen. I appreciate the time and effort everyone put into this, including the Finger Lakes Gateway CDC, as well as the county, WGI, and Scoped. I'd like to personally thank Kristen Van Horn, who led this effort for us, and the staff from the multiple organizations across the community who made this possible, including our own village trustee, Lori DiNardo. We're a small, close-knit community who know our neighbors and how to get things done, as we did with this application and as well with the $10 million. This investment will help improve our economy and provide the support our downtown needs. It is clear that the Southern Tier, with its world-class racetrack, is soaring. Thanks to this award, we can continue the progress we have made and ensure that we have a downtown that is worthy of a national destination like Watkins Glen. We will continue to drive economic growth, create quality, good-paying jobs, and improve the quality of life of our families. I want to take this opportunity to thank you, Governor Cuomo, for recognizing our town's potential and for making this historic investment in downtown Watkins Glen. Since the governor took office, he has listened to our needs and delivered on the promise of a better, stronger New York. With today's announcement, he has done it again. Thank you, Governor, for helping us build a better future. And thank you to everyone who helped put this application together and made this day a reality. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Senator O'Mara.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Howard. And certainly thank you, Governor Cuomo, for being here at Watkins Glen again today. You've been here so many times. You truly are a race fan, and I'm proud, and we're all proud to have your support in state government for this racetrack, for this region, and first and foremost today for the $10 million DRI award to Watkins Glen. It's just fantastic. My colleague in the Assembly from here, Phil Palmisano, is somewhere in the Smoky Mountains with his family right now, but he sends his thanks as well. I want to thank everyone from the community that's worked so hard on putting this plan together. Truly, it was the best of the three plans that were presented to the REDC in Ithaca a few weeks ago. The governor and Howard were in Ithaca too, then talking about hemp. Yeah, I don't know, Howard, with the chips, were you out back with Cheech or Chong again this time before getting there? But hopefully, hopefully you're not flying the helicopter on the way back. But we have, a great region. You don't have to look any more than this beautiful photo up here. The beauty of the region, the governor's commitment to upstate New York, the commitment to the track here and helping with the repaving of this track just a year ago, right, Michael? Just fantastic. But, we've got the assets that we have here. USA Today does these national polls on places around the country. And I think it was 3 years ago that Watkins Glen NASCAR track was voted the fan favorite NASCAR track in the United States 3 years ago. Following that was the state park in Watkins Glen being voted nationwide the third best state park in the country. A year or two ago, I think 2 years ago, the Harbor Hotel down here in the picture was voted the #1 best waterfront hotel in the United States of America. And then just last week, USA Today poll picked, the Readers poll picked this again as the #1 NASCAR track in the country. So, it is truly impressive what we have right here. And while the DRI is going to be specifically targeting Watkins Glen, it is all about the region, and the governor and Howard have recognized that across the state and picking the region's strengths to build on. The craft beverage industry, in addition to the wine, the breweries, the distilleries that have popped up, are just adding to tourism incredibly. I want to thank Tom Trenner, Harvey Stanger for your work on the regional councils year in and year out to get this done. It is a truly remarkable work that we're doing across the southern tier and in the Finger Lakes region, since we're really in both regions here. The DRI was awarded last year $10 million to Elmira, about 25 miles directly south of here. And last year, Geneva, way up at the end of the lake up there, about 38 miles up from here, were awarded $10 million in DRI funds last year. So now with this award today, truly we're bookending Seneca Lake with significant investment here for the region, and in particular Watkins Glen. So Michael Printup, thank you for hosting us here today. It's great to be with you all, and I think, Governor, show us the money, will you?
Nobody trusts anymore.